Good evening, everybody. It's Shelley Johns here from Gympie. So I'm a Herbalife member. I've been with the company now for 28 years. So I've lost 20 kilos in 3 dress sizes and absolutely love the products. I think I'm more passionate about the products now than I was when I first started. So I'm here with Ross.
Hi, how you going?
So we're going to be running through the marketing plan because I think it's really important that you learn the marketing plan, and I can definitely say it took me a long time to learn it. It went over my head a fair bit, but Merv always said, don't worry about it, the computer will work it out. So that was kind of good. It made me go, but I knew that there were some things that I had to learn as I went along, and once I heard it over and over and over and over again, it started to sink in, and I started to get a grasp for it, which is really good. So we're going to kick off the night with good news like we always do. So we're going to start with Peter, who last week was telling us about talking to a couple of workmates. So tell us what's happened from there, Peter.
Well, I'm happy to share that one lady that I mentioned last week, I met with her yesterday.
Yep.
And she's now signed up as a VIP member.
Yep.
So I'm very much looking forward to working with her and to get to where she needs to be. And
Yep.
the other lady, I gave her a 3-day trial pack, and I'm yet to follow up with her, which I'll be doing that this week.
Okay, cool. So there are 2 people you work with.
Correct.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, we'll definitely keep us informed with their results and everything. So well done, Peter.
Thank you. Will do.
No, thank you. So Cara and Michael, you attended the training on Saturday, so we'd love to get some feedback from it. Just wanted to say congratulations to Cara for stepping up and doing the Herbalife Opportunity meeting with me with pretty much no prep beforehand. It was fairly minimal. You pretty much walked in, we went over it a couple of times and then got it right into it. So I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
So it was nice doing it with you, and I look forward to doing that again. And also congratulations for qualifying for the leadership training. And I know you've done your second month of, I think you've hit 3,000, but so second month of active supervisor. So this month to finish that off, obviously heading towards a world team and a whole host of other things as well. So that's really exciting to see that. So tell us what you got out of the weekend.
For me, really, it was a whole bunch of the phrases that he used when the stupid questions like pyramid scheme and all that was thrown out. Just the simple things where it goes, well, I don't know about that, and things like you were saying, be a bit of a smart ass, for want of a better word, to people that are calling it pyramid and things like that. Where he goes, well, the government must love it. That's because we're on the stock market, and simple things like that really rang home for me.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a bit of the recognition. I mean, we both got lots out of it, and there's been lots of food for thought and lots of discussions over the last few days. But things like don't make an appointment to make an appointment, just do it.
Yeah.
That was really good. And the recognition for people that are starting off on the program and have lost their 2 kilos or have lost their 5 kilos, and sending them a certificate in the mail and making a bit of a deal about it, because people appreciate that.
Definitely. As I say, people do so much more for recognition, and I think that's something we do very strong on in our team, is that recognition part as well. So that's good. I'm glad you got heaps out of it. I know that he's doesn't sugarcoat anything, Mark. He pretty much tells it as it is, but you can pick the bits that suit you and that you can put into action. So I'm glad that you got a lot of value, and I'm glad that we were able to get him to drive 3 hours each way to come and be with us. So and he said he's going to come back in 6 months' time. So I can't wait to show the growth that we're going to have.
It just proves that the follow-up is really important, whether it's with other members or whether it's with your clients. That follow-up is really important.
Yeah. Excellent. So thank you for your feedback. It was so great to have you there. Amanda and James, you attended the event on Saturday. Congratulations for qualifying for the leadership training. I know that you stretched to hit that 1,000 volume points. So it was really great to see you and see how you're growing. So share what you've got out of Saturday.
Well, there was quite a few things. I mean,
one of the things that stood out for me particularly was be an example or a warning to your loved ones. Like, for me, that's a pretty big thing because I'm a bigger person. My mum wasn't. She died of a heart attack. My daughter could very much follow this sort of a person, so I'm trying to show her what she can do to try and maintain her weight as she gets older. So, yeah, like Cara said, the recognition thing. Yeah, that like I wrote down like 2 pages worth of notes, which is pretty extreme for me. So there was plenty of it that I got out. Yeah.
Excellent. That's fantastic. Great points that you got out of it. What about you, Amanda?
Yeah, like I got the I was the same. I took a whole heap of notes, got a whole lot out of it as well. But yeah, probably like the recognition and and the mortgage stress. How many people are stressing on their mortgage and everything and didn't quite realise it was so many people. Like, you think about it, but you didn't actually realise until you know the numbers. So yeah, it's quite a big deal. So it's quite an interesting training to go to. I'm quite glad we went.
Yes, I think it was great. It gave some different things to think about and that you could use, because we were doing flyers today in that heat and just looking at different properties and ones that were for sale and some that obviously people have moved into. You could tell they weren't completed, and talking about that, how we could have that set of words to talk to people on helping them with their mortgages and things like that. So yeah, it was really good. It definitely got us thinking. So that's cool, and thank you for sharing your results on Saturday as well. I think we had some pretty great product results and lots of sharing, and I think everyone did a fantastic job of stepping up and all working together as a team. I'm sure Mark could really see what a great team that we are. So that was really cool. So thank you for sharing, guys. So Trish, I know you came on Saturday. Congratulations for qualifying for the leadership training as well. And I know you've got some good news to share.
Yes, so Vicky's now decided to sign up with us. So she's now going to become a member. She brought her members back today. Yep. So I'm going to help her sign up for that. So that's awesome.
Cool.
What else? For the leadership training, I thought it was really good. Lots of great tips, thinking outside the square, getting extra people to talk to where we think we've done all our centre of influence. We use use where and talk to people, talk to people we know, talk to people we don't know, write a contact list. In the contact list, we put them on a side of products. So who we think would go on the product list and who we think would go on the business list. I said that it might change as it goes along, but just do that list so you got an idea of where you talk to people about what sort of side that they'd be on. Just say to them, it might not be for them, but that's okay. So ask your family and friends if they could, you could talk to them and just say, like, I just want to run this by you. I've been learning this training, and if I could just run it by you and you just listen and see where that goes. Are you serious? So take no prisoners. He said, how much do you want to lose or gain? And go that way and talk to people about what they want to lose, what they want to gain, and go through that sort of idea of just questioning them. I talked about the stop sign. So going through, do not make an appointment. To make an appointment, we talked about that. We went around the room and we worked out how much people had lost. And in just the room, we had 80 kilos. So he said that's a massive thing. And, when you think about it, just that many people, it's quite a significant amount of weight that you lose. And when you talk to other people, to mention that, so it impacts them as well, to say that we're all serious about this weight loss and we can all help each other. I thought that the recognition was a good idea with the certificates. Also about get 20 people and keep 20 people. So always keep looking, never give up, and keep looking for that person to sign them up. I better leave some room for other people. But I thought it was really awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. So, and yeah, great stuff that's easy for anyone to do, so simple. And, you know, it's totally duplicatable. So I loved it too. So congratulations on Vicky being quite inspired by the weekend, and hopefully we can get her to her first STS with Shanice Thompson on, is it the 19th? 19th,
yep.
Brisbane. Hopefully she can come
So
on.
I'll talk to her about that.
Yeah, just see how you go. Plant that seed. I think planting the seed's the first part. And she's got a free ticket she can use, and anyone that hasn't used their free ticket can use their free ticket to that as well. So that's really cool. I'll just quickly thank you very much, Trish, for sharing.
No worries. Okay.
Rosemary, did you have some good news to share?
Yes. Hi, Shelley. Hi, Ross. Hi,
Hello.
yes, last week, one of my members, you know, I chatted to her about, always talk to them about the, you know, the 25 and then the 35 and the 42%. And she dived in and she did the 35% on her own, which was great. And she sent me a text today, which was lovely. And she said she got her partner on, what did she get him on? Lifeline, joint support, aloe, the beverage. He was in a lot of pain and he was swallowing a lot of medication for the pain. And consequently, within, she said, no time at all, she said a day. I said, oh, within a day even, he was, no pain, complaining of no pain, and felt great. So she's on the Ultimate plus a couple of other things as well. So that was exciting to hear that, to be very honest. And that lady, she had had several strokes over many years back. So she really wants to stay healthy and well. And also I've got the weight loss challenge tomorrow night. So I always, you know, get in touch with everybody that I can think of to possibly join and, yeah, possibly have, you know, 17, 18 maybe at that challenge, which will be great as well. So I think that was all. Yeah, that was all good. And I was at the shopping centre the other day and just looking at something or other, at pots or something, and got chatting to this lady. And she'd been on weight, I think, like about 20 odd years ago. And it was then talking about having, you know, an operation to lose some of the weight. She wasn't that overweight, really. And I have given her my number, and also I did my best to encourage her not to go that way, and explained exactly what had happened to me 26 years ago. So I gave her my story, and we had a lovely chat. So he's hoping that, you know, yeah, she'll rethink, yeah, because I don't know, I'm not real keen on any of those big surgeries. So we know how Herbalife works. Yeah, so that's my excitement for the week. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. So, sorry, Cara sent you a message. I worked it out. Okay, so thank you everyone for sharing. So our good news is a beauty therapist that we know, she's reordering some products, which is great. And it's interesting, I just, because I wanted to book an appointment with her, I just tacked on the end, oh, by the way, how are you going with your Herbie products? Do you need a top up ? And she said, sent back saying, oh, but you know, funny you should say that. I was just going through the cupboard thinking I needed some more. And I said, you know, so I just said, oh, you know, we're great minds think alike, or whatever little thing. She told me what she wanted, sent her the price, so she's going to put it into my account and then we'll deliver it, which is cool. And I think we've got Sky coming in to pick up her Herbie beverages at the centre tomorrow, so that'll happen while Cara and Trisha there as well. So that's all really cool. There was one other thing. Oh, one of our old VIP members, which I probably haven't seen for a couple of years, she moved to Caboolture and she came back. It was in Gympie. We met up at the centre on a Sunday. She got signed up, and I think she would have been on my 4th or 5th line at that stage. So she's actually moved up to first line now. And yeah, and then she said on Saturday, while I was setting up for the Let's Go, she messaged and said, I've done my 35%. And I went, yay. So I will do her some recognition. I just haven't had a chance to think about it. So I'll get something up and give her some recognition as well, because you never know what might inspire her. And I definitely want to invite her to Luke Fortescue. So look, Saturday was really good. I would have loved more numbers there, but I think the people were there that were really serious about getting the information. I think it was the right group to be there. Look, we could have had double the numbers, but might have been people that weren't ready for it. But I think the group that was there was ready for it. I loved all the recognition. Mark's obviously quite hyperactive. He's like, when he's on, and doesn't pull any punches. So I think you just take what you want from his training, but it's all from Mark Hughes, and it's stuff that works, that anyone could put into practice, and really there's no substitute for just going out there and working. So I love the concepts that he shared, because it goes past what do I do when I run out of my centre of influence to talk to, or have I really talked to my centre of influence and go back, because I know even me, I've hardly scratched the surface of my centre of influence. I could still always be going back. And I just loved it. I thought it was really good. So what about you, Brian?
Yeah, it was direct, straight to the point, didn't pull any punches, and told you as it was.
Yeah.
What you need.
Cool. So now we open it up to, thank you everyone for sharing. We really do appreciate it. It's great to see all the things that are happening in the group, and I know there's lots of other things planned. And so, yeah, sometimes you just need to create an event to get some renewed enthusiasm. So this is why we have so many events, but you can do your own as well. Whether it's a skin party, I know that Cara and Michael are doing a healthy lifestyle type party, which is, I think, is really smart. And there's so many things you can do to create that new energy and get things going as well. So I definitely encourage you in your local areas, particularly the people that don't have a lot of people around them, because I know there's lots of yous out there like that. You have to, like Rosemary, she's got a weight loss challenge. I know Trisha's thinking about doing a skincare party. So there's lots of those sort of things. Think about what could I do to gather some people together, and we're more than happy to give you a hand with that too. So I'll throw it over to you.
Cool. Thank you. Oh, sure.
Oh,
Excellent.
I forgot about that. I made that. Surprise.
So before we get into this, one of the things that Mark sort of implied also on the weekend is you really need to think about what sort of business do you want. And that's what you have to work out. What do you want? Do you want a business that's retail? Do you want a royalty business long term that's all about looking for business people? You have to work out what you want and what works for you. It is important that it's your business and what works for you. Okay, cool. So our business is really simple. To make part-time extra income, we do two things. We use the products to get a wow result. So if you listen to Mark's thing on the weekend, you smash the products like your life depends on it. That's really what you need to do. And get a great result, whatever your level 10 is at whatever point you get to. And then we build a customer base of people who use the products to get a wow result. That's what we do if we want to get part-time income. We do those two things. To create financial freedom, we do three things. We do the first two things. We smash the products. We help customers who want to use the products to get a wow result from themselves. And then we teach others to do the same 2 or 3 things depending on their goals. Again, another thing from Mark on the weekend, do you have a goals? What are you looking for? What is your long-term expectation of where you want to be? So that's it. That's all we really do. Very simple, and it's extremely powerful. So some areas of income. We have retail profit. We have wholesale profit. We have royalty overrides. We have production bonuses. And then we have special vacations with paid vacations and those sort of things. So really, that's your areas of income. So retail profit. It's earned by developing a customer base of people who use the products. So we're going to use an example of an Ultimate program, which retails or sells for $489. So as a member, when you join up, when you sell that product, you're making $110 retail profit, right? Just straight up, that's what you're making. But you can become a senior consultant, and we are going to go through how to achieve these things as we get a little bit further on here. To become a senior consultant by doing no more work other than moving up in the marketing plan to become a senior consultant, you're making $154 profit. We can either become a qualified producer or a success builder. Again, we're going to explain this a little bit further down. And on for the same sale, you're going to make $185 retail profit. So this is the area where you're working toward, and this is what you want to try and get all your people that become members to work towards as well, because it is the best position within the marketing plan. 50% supervisor, you're going to make obviously double what a 25% member is, and you're doing the exact same work as what the 25% member is doing, but you're now making $220 profit. And how did you get the supervisor? You've just done what we said at the beginning. You've helped 2 or 3 people or a few people get a great result on the product and work from there. So that's what retail profit is just making the retail off a direct retail sale, and depending on where you are in the marketing plan, depends on the profit you make. Yes, you're going to stop.
So the good thing about this is you can have as many customers as you like. So if you just want a couple, that's fine. But you can have as many customers as you want. It's unlimited. But think about how much time it takes to service the customers and give them the right follow-up and support that they need. So that's why sometimes it's good to have your team with their 20 or so clients, and then you look after around 20. But you can really have as many as you like.
So what, like Shelley's saying, is if let's say we had 10, and we had 10 people, in example, that bought an Ultimate program, and we're a supervisor because that's where we've worked to, we've just made $2,200. You're working on 20 of those, double it, you're at now $4,400. Now, when you think about it, some of the work we did on the weekend, you made $35 for 10 minutes work.
Yep.
Now go and work that out. Now, you don't do that all the time. I appreciate that, but that's what retail profit is about. So Herbalife have a currency. It's called a volume point. The reason we have a volume point is because we're in over 94 countries in the world, we have to keep it fair no matter where you live in Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, America, doesn't matter what it is. We all work off the same volume currency to achieve how we move up the marketing plan. Now, if you look at the Formula One, it's 23.95, and that Ultimate program we're giving an example on is 117.15 volume. So you want to move to 35%. So we'll slow this down. You need to do 500 volume points or value points, depending on how you want, and that's a value is a good way to explain it. So the more people I help, the easier I get to get the 500 volume points or value points in a month by helping just 3 to 7 customers. If you looked at that Ultimate program, it was 177 volume points, 3 people, and I'm over that 500. All right, that's all I've done.
But it can be any combination
of that. Yeah, absolutely, any combination.
Yeah.
This can be done in several small orders at 25% discount, so slowly moving through the system, or in one single order done at 35% discount. And once you achieve, you never go below this discount. And this is the only position in the marketing plan where when I place my last order to get me to 500 volume points, that whole order goes to 35%. People don't always understand that part, but if I'd have done 50 volume points my first order, and then I did a 450 volume point order, that last order, which kicks me past my 500, that whole order becomes 35%. People don't, and it's the only part in the marketing plan where that will occur. All right. So you becoming a success builder, you need to personally purchase a single order of 1,000 volume points at 42%. This will give you a 42% discount on additional orders purchased during the rest of that month. So that success builder order of 1,000 volume points puts you at a temporary 42% for that month only. Then at the end of the month, you would go back to 35, and there is another part along further where you can hold the 42%, which we'll get to in a minute. All right, so 1,000 volume points, one-off order, not collectively across the month. One order, one go only. It's at 42%.
And Jan McMahon always says with this one that's smart to do a success builder order at the start of the month if you're able to. Turn it over, so then any reorders that you're doing are still at 42%, and so to get as far along as you can with your volume, so that basically it's pushing you to supervisor faster. It's a really smart way of using the marketing plan and getting that maximum discount for the minimum amount of products as well. So
Absolutely.
if you know someone is doing a shake party or a business launch, and you think they need some stock, plus they need products to use themselves and things like that, especially if there's more than one in the family using the products, that success builder order is a really, really smart move.
Yep. And like Rosemary said before, we need to clearly understand this. The marketing plan from 25, 35, and 42 is not a stepping stone system. As a brand new member on day one, they can choose to be 25%. They can choose to place a 500 volume point order within that first month or within their first order, or they can choose to do 1,000 volume point order in their first order, and they could be at 42% from day one. It's not a stepping stone. We often think it is. Oh, I've got to get to 25, then I move to 35. It can be a stepping stone, but it does. Everybody thinks, oh, this member starts and gets 25%. People should be given the option. I know when I first placed my first order, it was over 750 volume points worth of an order, and I went straight to 35%.
But they didn't tell you about.
But they didn't tell me that if I'd have done another 250, I could have placed 1,000 volume point order, and I had the funds, I had the money at the time. I could have quite easily done that. But that's why it's important to say to your customer and obviously your member when they start up. Now, understanding that you've got to explain that 42% is temporary for that month only. They could go and place it again the next month and the next month if they chose to. We'll explain to the next part in a minute. But you need to clearly understand that the customer, should give the customer the option which way they would like to go. Right? It is important.
Yes, I think just let people know without prejudging would they or wouldn't be interested. Just say these are some of the options of how you can start. And some people like the idea, like someone with that business brain, like I know you would have been like that. If you'd seen 42%, you probably would have gone for it. Whereas I probably wouldn't have done any of that because I was probably flat out just getting some product to start with. So I think it just depends on the person, but just show everyone the options and then let them choose.
Because I can tell you I was prejudged and I had a lot of money at that time that I could have bought whatever I wanted. And nobody had that conversation with me. They should have had that conversation.
Yeah. So don't ever judge.
Don't ever judge.
And just offer the options. Obviously, it's something Rosemary does naturally and it works really well for her too.
I may not have looked like I had money, but I definitely had the money at the time. So don't ever prejudge somebody. So the qualified producer, you have to accumulate 2,500 volume points in 1 to 3 consecutive months to hold that 42%. So when your member started and they wanted 42%, they could order 1,000 volume points first order. The next month, they could order another 1,000 volume points. And then whatever they did in the third month, as long as it was over 500, they actually would never have, repeat that. They would have probably had to get the 42% the third month. They would have had to place their 1,000 volume points straight up. Otherwise, they would have dropped back to 35% temporary until they've achieved over their 500. All right. So
someone can do 2,500 volume points in their first month and become a qualified producer.
Absolutely.
You can do it in 1 month, but you can do it over 3 months as well. So I know, for example, Amanda and James did 500 the first month, 1,000 second month. So a great goal would be to let's see if we can get that 1,000 done or more, because then we're going to be at 42% at the beginning of the
like
next
it says, the 42% you do the 2.5 in 1 to 3 months. You could do it in 1 month if you wanted to. Absolutely. Not a problem at all. Okay. Then to become a supervisor, the 50% point. So you need to accumulate your 4,000 volume points, value points in 1 month, in 2 months, or in up to 12 months, whichever way you want to go.
And of course, the accumulated one, the 3 to 12 months was always, that's a fairly new thing that's come in recently, which is really popular. And I think most people do it in that 4 to 6 months on average. And particularly once someone gets over halfway through to their volume, they tend to speed up because they can, it's like, I'm so close, I can get there. And so you'll see that happen. And so definitely let people know. I know we've got 3 people that are kind of in that ballpark of more than halfway. And we're always letting them know, hey, by the way, did you realize you've only got this to go? Why don't you have that as a goal to try and stretch? And look, some people don't want to do it and it's fine, but if you just let them know and keep an eye on it, it's probably one of the important things of having BizWorks. But you also want to let people know that they can do supervisor in 1 month and over 2 months, which is how I did it. I did 2.5 1 month, 2.5 next second, because that's what it was back then in the dark ages. But now it's 2 and 2. But let people know that if they want to go supervisor in 1 or 2 months, they can do that as well. It's really important, just again, to let people know what their options are. So if they want to choose, they can do that.
So write this down. It's not on a slide. In your first order, the customer's first order, they cannot order more than in the member's first order, they cannot order more than 1,100 volume points in the first order, which gives them that 42% on the spot, but you can only order 1,100 volume points on your first order.
What happens if they're actually really quite busy and they get quite a few more people than that? I mean, it didn't happen with me, but I mean, it's not to say it mightn't happen with someone else.
Well, the reason why they've put that in place is to protect the new member. That obviously in some countries they were just loading people up with products and supervisor orders where someone maybe wasn't quite ready for it, or they hadn't even got a result.
So it's in your first order.
Yeah.
In your first order. So the next day you can go and do as many orders as you want, up to 3,990 volume points if you write that down in your first 10 days.
Okay, now you've confused me. Say that to me again.
All right. So so you've got a brand new member.
Yep.
They've decided to sign up. Yep. They think, yes, I would love to get the 42%. They can order 1,100 volume points in that first order.
Yeah.
Okay. In their first 10 days of business,
yep,
they cannot order more than personally purchased volume, I'm talking here.
Yeah.
3,990 volume.
3,390. Okay. All right.
You can't personally purchase more than personally purchase.
Yeah.
You sign members up in that time, that changes the game.
Yeah, sure.
So
but you can't. So you can't in 10 days buy yourself in 10 days. Just buy 4,000 volume points for the product and buy yourself 50%.
And the reason for that again is a brand new member
needs to get a result.
They need to get a result. They need to be locked in, and 10 days is a very short time.
When you think about
it. Look, I get if they've been a customer for a long time, all of a sudden they've got registered, but that time goes fairly quickly. You can set them up, get the ball rolling, going through their goals, going through the Centre of Influence list, and doing all those things in that time anyway.
And remember.
Okay, so getting this in my head. So, sorry, Ross. So if they've done the 1,100 volume points, and then after that 10 days,
they can order whatever they want.
Okay, all right.
They can order whatever they want.
Ding, ding,
remember,
ding.
You got to remember, it's personally, Lindy, it's personally purchased orders. So therefore, you'd be then going out and selling $3,990 worth, in theory, 90 volume points worth of retail sales.
Yeah. Okay.
If you were selling that much product and had that many clients, you'd be seriously looking to selling some of them up as members, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, right. You're right. Okay. Thank you.
So it's only personally purchased volume. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So if you understand those two things, it just makes it easy in case you just get someone that wants to come along and buy whatever amount of volume.
Yeah, and look, it's not typical, but it is possible.
It is possible. There may be someone out there that may want to do that. So just as long as you know that, that's fine. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So wholesale profit. Wholesale profit is earned as the non-supervisors in the team place orders through the warehouse. So now these are, you've become a member and you have members. So we're going to go with the same example of an ultimate program. We're looking at the fact that you've moved yourself through the marketing plan and you've got yourself to that 50%, right? And you sign up a member that sells an ultimate program at 25%. You also make the $110. So you've become 50%. So working on that as the example, and it's easier. You've become 50%. you've signed up a brand new member and they've chosen to sign up at a membership for 25%. That's what they've done. They've gone out and got a friend, and that will help somebody, or maybe they've just ordered it themselves and they bought an Ultimate program. If they sold that Ultimate program to somebody and made $110 retail profit, you also in wholesale made another $110. Okay. They move up the marketing plan, as you can see the difference. At 35%, you make $66 as a supervisor. They've still made $154, so they're not losing out in any way, shape, or form. They make $154 profit off that scenario. They've gone out, they've either become a qualified producer or they've done a Success Builder order. They're selling Ultimate programs. They're making $185 profit. You're making the 8% difference. You're making $35. Do you wish to go through any of that?
Yeah, and so the exciting, I love wholesale.
You love wholesale
I
profit?
love it.
Okay,
so it lands in your bank account combined with your royalties on the 15th of each month, which is really cool. So make sure that you send your bank details into Herbalife.
Yep. So another way to say it is, retail sales is money in my pocket now. Wholesale sales is my checking my bank. It's my monthly income. There's another way to look at it. And then when we get to royalty, it's future money.
I think how exciting this is 25% member here, and you say you're at 50 or whatever percentage of wholesale. You know, it's them. That's just with them with one customer.
Correct.
Imagine if they had 10 customers, and then imagine if it wasn't just one member, it was like 5 or 10 members. So think about the possibility of how that can grow. So I love wholesale profit. I think it's a really exciting part of the parking plan. Remember, most businesses don't have it because the middleman gets it. So they've cut out the middleman, and we actually have access to this amazing area of income. So I just love it.
Yep. So everything you do is to help your member to get to 50%. That's what we're looking to do all the time. All right.
Yep.
So then we've got royalty profit. Can you put us back up? Then you've got royalty profit. It's earned. So we've gone along. We've become a supervisor. We've helped their member either move up through the marketing plan, and they've got 500, or whichever level they've got to, but they've achieved themselves to 4,000 volume points in either 1 month, 2 month, or 3 to 12, and they've also become a supervisor. And when that happens, earned when you're a supervisor and you have a supervisor in your team that are ordering through the warehouse, we get up to 5% on 3 levels of supervisors.
So just remember, you're not earning wholesale profit off your supervisor anymore because you're both at 50%. So there's no more wholesale. And of course, Herbalife says, well, you've helped that person and you've mentored them and helped them get the supervisor. So they will pay that 5% royalty on everything that person and their organization does. So, which is really exciting.
Absolutely. So qualifying as a supervisor. So in 1 month, you have to achieve 4,000 volume points in 1 calendar month, with a minimum 1,000 of those 4,000 volume points unencumbered. Now, unencumbered means they're not being used by anyone else within that month in your team going to become a supervisor. This is what it actually means. All right. So you may do 1,000 volume points of personally purchased in the first month. You may do 2,000 or 3,000, but long as the 1,000 of that is personally purchased, not being used by anyone else, you can use then downline. You might have a few other members that do the rest of the volume within that calendar month to get you to become a supervisor straight away.
So as an example, if you had 2 people that went senior consultant, senior consultant at 500 volume points each, they can still go 35% on that, but you can also use it for your supervisor qualification.
Absolutely.
Or if someone did a Success Builder order at 42%, you might have 3 people on your first line all do Success Builder orders, and there's 3,000, and then you do your 1,000 and you become a supervisor. So they can still have it for a Success Builder order, but you're using it to help with your supervisor qualification as well.
So 2-month qualification, you can achieve 4,000 volume points over 2 consecutive months, exactly the same as the 1-month situation, long as with a minimum of 1,000 of those 4,000 volume points are unencumbered but not being used by any of your new downline members to become supervisors, that you can do it in 2 months. Okay. In the 3 to 12 months, you have to achieve the same 4,000 volume points within 12 months, of which of the 3 months is required. You can use up to 2,000 downlines. So in this scenario here, you have to personally purchase 2,000 volume points yourself over the 12 months. So you might go along through the month and you might do a 500 volume point order. You may do a 1,000 volume point order over a year. You might do a couple of hundreds here and there, bits and pieces. You might have team members doing the same, but your personally purchased volume has to be 2,000, and then 2,000 for whatever your team does. So in other words, I've seen this scenario happen in the past where the person may have done 1,500 volume themselves within the 12 months, but they had people below them, and the people below them had done 2.5, and they go, well, I've done 4. Why aren't I supervisor? Because they hadn't done 2,000 personally purchased themselves. You need to clearly understand that.
And just keep in mind that 3 to 12 months doesn't mean we want them to take 12
No,
months.
absolutely not.
We definitely want them to do it quicker. And remember that average is 4 to 6 months. So really planting that seed that there is a faster way, because you don't. The slow is painful. Fast is much more enjoyable.
So in this scenario here, if you look at the 3 to 12 months, and I am trying to slow this through the system, is you just can't go, oh, great, I've got a whole heap of members and I'll just do a little bit and I'll go and do, you won't get to supervisor after you pass 3 months. They're liable to go there and you'll still be sitting there. You have to still go out and find new clients, which is retail. Remember, retail customers is your personally purchased the product to sell to the customer. That's your personally purchased volume. That's how you keep that volume. It's your own orders and whatever else you're helping to sell it to other customers along the way to give you those 2,000. All right, but just clearly understand you need that 2,000 yourself. You all right with that?
Yep.
All right. So just a couple of examples here. Person A personally purchased 4,000 volume points within the month. Obviously, in a 1 to 2 month period, they're the supervisor. Example 2, as we were just talking about, they personally purchased 3,000 themselves, but they use 1,000 of downline volume for person B. Because that person B ordered 1,000, they're at supervisor. They're at supervisor within that month. All right. Qualifying a supervisor using a team.
I really like this.
Shelley
method.
likes this method.
I was taught this a lot.
This is how Shelley was taught. I wasn't taught this.
This is Rosemary qualified supervisor.
Rosemary smiling.
She did a line of 2. So did Lindy, line of 2.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. So, you know, it's actually a really smart way of sharing the volume, and it's like a little loophole in the marketing plan that you can take advantage of. So if you get the right combination of people, someone that's a real builder and they start recruiting a lot and they get a line of people underneath them, you know, this is something you could present to that line.
So it doesn't show it here, but I'll give you an example of the best way to understand this. For every person you put in the system, so if you imagine the screen in front of you, A, B, and C. Long as A did 1,000, personally purchased. Long as B did 1,000, personally purchased. If C went out and did 4,000, adds up to 6, you'd all become supervisors as long as the paperwork was submitted. However you choose to do it, long as each person, A, B, and C, did minimum 1,000 each, and then however the rest of the number adds up to become the 6, that's how it works. So for every person, so remember, you got to do 4,000 volume points in 1 month to become a supervisor. Every time you add a person to the line, you add 1,000 volume points. So in this scenario, we added B, we added C, so we had to add 2,000. Now the total collective group has to do a total of 6. As long as you understand that numbering system, you can go as deep as long as you like.
Can I put a question into the mix for you then?
Absolutely.
Sorry, it's just only because this sort of came up the other day and I just sort of got distracted. If you had, for instance, say 10 in a line.
Yeah, don't try to get me that up. Go on, that'd be, yeah.
Okay, so that's 13,000.
Doesn't matter, but yes, go
13,000, divide that by, 10, you got 1,300 or something, whatever each.
Each person.
But your maximum is 1,100, isn't it? So then whatever's the remainder, do you then do the following month divvy between all those people?
What 1,100?
Well, you're talking.
Okay.
As long as they're doing 1,000 unencumbered, and yes, it would happen in that calendar month.
In that calendar month. Remember, the maximum was 1,100 in your first order.
Okay.
Every order after that adds up within the calendar month to whatever you want it to be, right?
Okay.
So if you had that many people in a line, you would find, I haven't a calculator here to work it out, you'd actually all be able to do almost less, but you must do, if they all wanted to be supervisors, they would all have to do minimum 1,000 personally purchased themselves. and every
Yes.
one of them would go supervisor.
Yeah.
So, for example, A could do 4,000, B do 1,000, C do 1,000,
Absolutely.
6,000 total. They all go supervisor,
Yep.
and I really should. A should know B, and B should know C.
Correct.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely don't recommend people putting
Just
people
grabbing
under.
just grabbing 3 people off the street that
Yes.
don't know each other.
So if
no.
you,
Oh, absolutely.
say if you got so many, you would need to recruit the people that you had brought in. They all should go front line, and then you help them build deep and do it that way. So again, B could do 4,000, and A and C could do 1,000 each. Or in this scenario, they've divided the volume equally.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work that way. There's usually someone that does more or less,
Correct.
as long as there's 1,000 minimum, and it all adds up to that 6,000 or more. They'll go supervisor in the 1 month. So it's really smart way and fast way of doing volume and all going supervisor together. But you've got to get the right
Collective.
scenario, making sure they're serious and committed. That's really, really important.
Yep.
And then you just submit the paperwork to Herbalife. There's certain paperwork you do. Your upline tab team or supervisors can help you with that, and you
Yes.
submit the paperwork. And the paperwork always shows the 4,000 on the bottom and 1,000 each, and you just send the paperwork in. But so it's a really, really exciting and smart way of going supervisor. So definitely keep this in mind for when those right conditions come.
Yep. Another thing you need to be aware of though is too, let's say A did 4,000, B did 1,100, and C said, oh, well, we've got it to 6 and I'm only doing 9. C won't go supervisor.
Yep.
They must do 1,000. You must understand that. They must do 1,000 personally purchased.
And same
Doesn't
thing.
matter how far over the 6 they go. It's irrelevant if someone does greater orders, but they must all do 1,000 personally
Well,
purchased.
same with C did 4,000 and B did 1,000 and A only did 500. Well, guess what? B and C are going supervisor, and A's not. They'll still have an opportunity to qualify as supervisor if they did do it in that month.
Yep.
They've got 12 months.
Yep.
Otherwise, B and C would move up the
Yep.
side.
Yeah, and that's
So,
getting complicated, but
It is,
yeah. So qualifying as supervisor into 3 to 12 months. So person A, done 500 and 800, 1,000, 1,200. Their total purchase was 3,500 personally purchased. They end up with a member, B. They don't do anything in the first month because they didn't find them until month 2. They do 300, they do 500, they do 600, they did 1,400 personally purchased. Person A would automatically become a supervisor in that scenario, right?
Because remember, volume always flows up.
Okay. Right. This is a little bit smaller to read, but it is in your career manual. And we're going to go into more detail with this next week. We will. So royalty and production bonuses is the extra part of the production bonuses where your royalty kicks in. So, and maybe a little bit smaller to read, so do get your career manual out if you need to. So you go and get 2 supervisors and each produce 2,500 organisational volume. Their volume points would then be 5,000. Their royalty overrides for that month with 250. You would end up with $450 in royalty, right? Because they're already now supervisors in your team. So you've become a member, you've chosen whichever method you want to become a supervisor, you've shown someone else to do that, and you're all supervisors now. There are supervisors below you, either the 1 month, 2 month, or 3 to 12 month method. And then you had 2 people underneath you that you've helped do that, your royalty override becomes $450 if you do that. You go out then and teach those people, because this is duplication. It's about helping to teach other people what to do. They go out and get 2 supervisors. So they've got 4 supervisors in total. Each produce 2,500 organisational volume. So it's 4. That's a total of 10. Royalty override of 500 in that month. You now get a check for $900. All right. They go out and get 2 supervisors, and we'll break this down further in next week. Each produce 2,000. Your volume points is 20,000. Royalty overrides is 1,000 in 1 month. It's your first cut of get team, and you've got $1,800. Your total volume at this point would be 35,000 if that was the scenario down the line. Your royalty override would be 3,150, and a production bonus would kick in because and you would do 2,000. Get 2% of that, which would be 1,260.
And just saying that the volume points is listing, the 5, the 10, and the 20, under your supervisors. So
Yes.
it's called organizational
Organisational volume.
volume. So it's not your personal volume, just so you know. So it's not what you, from your wholesale. That's so your wholesale and retail are extra on top of that.
Okay. You don't want to go into that. You've got to do 5. If you get to production manager, I'm going to explain that to them. No.
No.
It's going to get
But so basically the red one is the get team example, your green one is your build team example, and the blue one is a president's team example. And I know Gary always said, just imagine, even if it took you 5 to 7 years, you just went out and found 5 key people, and then you taught them to get their 5, and you teach them to get their 5.
Yep.
You know, imagine what your check could be.
Yep.
And he always said, you're never going to run out of people to speak to. The river forever flows. That, you know, he just said, you've just got to play the what if game, and just what else are you going to be doing with the time anyway? Why not just go for it? And that's what he always used to. He said it might not be typical, but it's absolutely possible. And of course, we know that Gary and Jennifer running much more than that per month.
Yep. So really, it's just a matter of go and help some people get a wow result. Help those people get other people to get a wow result, which helps those people get to supervisor, helps you've got the supervisor, and you just keep helping people get a fantastic result. That's what you're looking to do.
And the reason you're motivated to get people to supervisor, because it's the best place for them to be.
Absolutely.
If you help people do what's best for them, you will in turn get what you want. If you just
Absolutely.
focus on how can I help someone get what they want, take the focus off you and your needs and wants, which sometimes is hard to do, especially if money is an issue. You've got to push that aside. In fact, I was just reading in that Jim Ryan book about that. You know, show your skill and hide your need, and do what's best for that person. And being a supervisor is absolutely the best position for every single person, as far as I'm concerned.
From our point of view, I want people to supervise as soon as possible, but that's an individual thing. Some people will do it in 1 month, 2 months, or will take 12 months. Some people will take longer. It doesn't matter. Whatever each scenario creates, it's fine. But a job, realistically, what we're to do is to help people move up the marketing plan as best they possibly can.
Yeah, well, I know I took over 12 months. I really wasn't ready. You know, I didn't even understand what I was doing. And then once I got a grasp on it and I got some confidence with getting some clients, then it you know, then it became clearer on what I should be doing. So sometimes you've got to be patient with people until they're ready, and they can see, you know, they can see clear and they've got some confidence behind them. So be patient with people.
Absolutely. So why become a supervisor? You truly activate the marketing plan, take a full advantage of the marketing plan, maximize in all areas of your income, the 50% retail profit, you 8 to 25% wholesale profit, the royalties of 5% on 3 levels of supervisors, to set a good example for the current and future coaches, to qualify for the special supervisor trainings, and to qualify for spectacular vacations. Because obviously once you get to supervisor into the other levels, that opens up, like the 2-day event that's coming up. Supervisors then get a special training on the Sunday because they've moved themselves up the marketing plan, and without overwhelming someone in the beginning, that opens up another area of training that explains different things in the marketing plan and bits and pieces from there. So what's next? Do you want to read that?
Sure. Talk to your coach about where you should start based on your goals. So I think it's good to sit down and do, you know, some goal setting and planning with your partner or with your mentor or with your coach or a sideline. Get your own results on the products as quickly as you can. So look, not everyone gets a super fast result, but you've got to think about, how am I feeling? Is my skin looking better? Is my immune system better? Have I got more energy? Its results isn't always just weight loss, and some people don't need to lose weight either. So, you know, make sure they write down how they're feeling and they can share that. And keep in mind, we earn money from helping people be happier and healthier. The more people you help, the more money you make. And where you start and what you do is up to you. So you just got to show people the options and let them choose. It's just like a menu. Show them the full menu and let them choose what appeals to them and what they feel they can do, because you can always help. Like, I know whatever my goals were at the beginning are totally different to what my goals are now. So, you know, it's like that rubber band. Mark was saying, you know, once your rubber band stretches, it never goes back to its original position. So you're helping people stretch and grow, you know, as they go along. It's like this gradual thing.
Cool. So everything is really easy. So in other words, Mark uses words, if I can do it, you can do it as well.
The master of simplicity.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So we've got some promotions.
We've got some promotions. So, Brisbane. Sorry, Canberrians. I'm not sure what you've got going on.
But everyone has an STS.
Everyone has an STS.
Yeah, I can't remember her name offhand, but I did see it online briefly today.
Tanya Wilson. You got Tanya Wilson.
That's it. Yep.
So an STS happens all around the world. It's like a monthly training where you're learning the A to Z of the business in one day. You have a special guest speaker. There's recognition and lots. I think the thing I love about it is I'm always collecting new results. And of course, you know me, I'm always there to see who I can get to be a guest speaker. So one of the main reasons I go is who can I invite up to our location and share their knowledge. And I think it's just good because there's always something you will learn. Even if you take one thing away, it's a day of investment in you and helping your team grow and giving them other voices of value. So they're not always listening to you, that they're listening to other voices too. So get your ticket, brisbanests.com with Sharnese Thompson. She's a hairdresser or ex-hairdresser now from Melbourne. She actually was nannying overseas when she first noticed someone using the products, got started. She's under Ian Carroll and Warrillow's group. And just had a baby, just got married. And so she's going to be coming to share. She was actually the one on the video for the hair care product for the Aloe shampoo and conditioner. She did the video of being a hairdressing background. So I'm looking forward to being trained by Sharnese. Cool. So obviously Luke goes to the Brisbane STS and he just moved up from Melbourne. So I made sure I went and introduced myself and said, I'd really love you to come and be a guest speaker in Gympie. So he's going to be our guest speaker next month. And I'm really excited about it because we've come up with some great stuff. Cara and Trishi and a few other guys, we talked at Fit Club and came up with this great concept that we'll have our 21-day challenge, which basically leads right up to this event. So we'll do like this great client results recognition party at this event as well. I thought it was really smart. And so Luke's lost I put 82 kilos. That's where I've got that. So anyway, totally dyslexic. 58 kilos, not 82. I'll just change that. 58 kilos, and he's just moved to the Sunshine Coast, and he actually knows people in Gympie. He's got friends and family in Gympie. So I said, you should come, and then you can invite them to this as well. So we're really looking forward to him sharing his journey of how he's got his fantastic results, and I will update that amount because it's not 82.
Cool.
Maybe it will be one day.
Results not typical.
Yeah, but he has had an amazing life transformation. He was selling alcohol and really having a very unhealthy lifestyle, and sat next to someone on the plane that had a button on, wasn't interested. I think it took him about 12 months to get started, and he's just qualified for Active World Team this year. So I can't wait for him to be our special guest.
So the 2-day event, not clarified on the name at this stage. And again, another reason why you need to get supervisor. So the Saturday training and party is open to all the members. So you can come to the training on the Saturday. You can go to the party on the super yacht that they've got organised. To everybody that's just a member. So it doesn't matter what level of member you are. The Saturday is fully open to the person. The party is open to the person on the Saturday night. But you need to become a supervisor, and this is one of the reasons why. Because on the Sunday, there's training just for supervisors. So you need to be a supervisor so you can listen to the bits and pieces, because sometimes that's where the gold can come from. To go, right, now I get it. Now I understand. You can still get that from the member training, but bits and pieces will get put in that obviously is designed not to overwhelm the normal member and the 25 to 35 or the 42 on the Saturday. But there's bits and pieces because obviously the people that have got the supervisor have obviously helped a few people. They're starting to understand the system. They're starting to progress through the marketing plan. So the training is really designed for that person and helping that person move to World Team, Active World Team and beyond. That's really what it's designed for.
Yeah, and these guest speakers are all President's Team members, just in case you didn't know who they were. And we're in 5 locations. So if you have members in other locations, who do you know that you could invite along to that as well? Sure. So I definitely would be doing that. And of course, yes, in Queensland, it's at the Gold Coast, the QT. And on the Saturday night, they've got like a mega yacht,
super yacht, whatever they're calling it.
They're going to be going up and down the Broadwater and having a lifestyle evening, which is open to all ticketed members. So I thought that was a nice little touch.
Absolutely. Spectacular.
It's getting closer.
It's getting closer.
We booked the puppy dogs accommodation, didn't we?
The dogs are booked now.
Oh, and our accommodation.
Oh, our accommodation is booked too. Yeah. Yes, couldn't go if the dogs had nowhere to go. So yes, so spectacular. If you really want to see in Australia the bigger opportunity, see what it's all about, it's where you need to get to.
You've basically got all of Australia and New Zealand. So we all come together to celebrate and recognise. So Trey and Memi Heron, the Chairman's Club members, they're going to be our guest speakers, and so their parents, his parents actually came and trained. I've been trained by his parents, and so he's second generation Herbalife member and doing an amazing job, and he's going to be able to share, like, they usually select a guest speaker that's quite relevant to what we need in Australia. So they're sending this person for a reason, these people. Plus you're going to get fantastic training from people that are moving up the marketing plan. So lots of stories, lots of results, personal development. There'll be recognition. There was a party on the Saturday night, the special dinner, VIP seating, exclusive merchandise. There's so much in that weekend. So I highly recommend.
Yeah. So normally the Australian speakers are generally the people that are actively moving through the marketing plan currently within Australia. So you are going to hear from people other than people that have been around for a while. You're also going to hear from people that are relative right now, that are doing it right now, that are moving through the marketing plan right now under the conditions of where we all live right now. So it's not like it's irrelevant to what you're learning. All right. So you'll hear from the current people what they're currently doing around whatever that may be.
Cool. And I definitely want to encourage anyone that's been to a spectacular before on Challenge Yourself Daily, if you can do a post with some photos and why you would encourage people to get to this event. I'd love everyone to do that. So that's your homework, leaders, to inspire the rest of the group to go. So I know there's lots of people planning to go, and you know what, buddy up with people, you know, pull in with your accommodation, all travel together and make it fun. And you know, it's amazing. I've shared with lots of people, and you know, it's been great, and we've had a really good time all going together. So yeah, we definitely encourage you to go to this, because it'll just show you, it'll expand your vision, and you'll be so glad that you went. So we can't wait to see you all there.
I promise I won't lead Trishy astray.
She might leave you astray.
Oh shit. Oop. Oops. Potty mouth.
No, Trishy won't do that. Well, you Trishy. So, but you're going to have an amazing time. There's lots of first-time attenders going too, so I'm actually quite excited for you.
Yep, good.
So was that it?
I think that's it, isn't it? Oh, no,
so you can conquer anything in your life that you want to, if you just keep working on yourself. So keep doing your personal development. I know it's easy not to do. It's easy not to pick up that book or put on that positive thing. Even just 10 minutes a day, or as you say, just read one word.
Just read a word.
I encourage you to keep working on yourselves, listening to Voices of Value, getting to trainings, getting on these webinars, reading books, and really sourcing out information that's going to help you grow into the person that you want to be. Okay, so because we've all got that person inside that, you know, that needs to come out. But we all have our limitations and things that sometimes hold us back, but I can tell you, if you keep working on yourself, those things will get much easier. So thank you, everyone. Yep, we'll stop sharing.
Stop recording. And you stop recording.
I will stop recording. Hang on. Okay, so we're stopping recording now.